You know, in addition to selling airsoft guns here at Replay Sports, we also offer repairs on most major brands. So this week I thought I'd take a little bit of time to examine what are some of the common problems I see people have with airsoft guns and how to avoid them. So let's just title this week's video, How to Not Break Your Airsoft Gun. You know, we've all seen those scenes in the movie where the guy's shooting, he runs out of bullets, he grabs another magazine, slams it in, goes back to shooting. Well, in the real world, that's great with a real gun. You can do that. The guns are made out of case-hardened steel. They have spring-loaded magazines that are designed to be jammed in there so they're seated properly. But in the case of airsoft guns, these things are either made out of plastic or low-grade aluminum, so they're not really designed to be slammed around like that. So when you do your mag changes, that's all you need to do. Don't go slamming them in. Odds are you're either going to break the magazine catch or just wear down on the magazine so it won't grab anymore. So be nice to your gun. You know, everybody does it. I even find myself doing it from time to time, but I definitely advise on trying to do it as little as possible, and that's dry firing. That's where you're just taking your gun and blasting away for no good reason without any BBs in it. So what's the problem, right? Well, inside of the gun you've got these parts like a piston and a cylinder. When there's a BB in the barrel, it adds a certain amount of resistance so these parts aren't being slammed together. You take that BB out of the equation and the gun is basically beating itself to death. Now, I recommend this with all guns, whether they're spring guns, CO2, gas guns, or electric guns, to not dry fire them. All you're basically doing is just wearing your gun out for no particular good reason. So cut back on the dry firing. One of the most common problems we see, especially amongst young shooters, is continuing to try to fire the gun even after the barrel is jammed. So a BB will get lodged in the barrel, they'll continue to blast away, hoping that somehow they'll be able to dislodge the BB and continue firing. Well, odds are you're probably going to wreck your gun more than you're going to unjam it. So how do you deal with these things? Well, you'll notice most guns come with a little rod like this that has a cleaning end on one side for running a swab down the barrel, and then on the other end it has a little chisel point for clearing obstructions out of the barrel. So how does it work? Well, basically what you do is, first of all, when you're shooting your gun and there's nothing coming out of the barrel, stop shooting it. Number two, eject the magazine, look for anything that may be lodged in the breech of the gun. And number three, just run the chisel point down first and just work the BBs down out of the breech of the gun one by one until you finally cleared out the barrel. Obviously, if you're using dirty BBs or other kinds of, misformed BBs, are going to be more prone to having problems. So I definitely suggest using high-grade, precision-made BBs, which will eliminate a lot of the problems. But for the most part, and I know this goes without saying, if your gun's not shooting and there's nothing coming out of the barrel, stop shooting it. One thing that's very important with any airsoft gun is to lubricate it properly. Now, I know there's a lot of products out there that are designed for firearms or general lubricants that are like WD-40. I don't recommend any of that stuff. That stuff will basically melt down your gun and turn it into a giant pile of goo. What I do recommend is the silicone-based lubricants, with the caveat that you use the proper kind of silicone-based lubricants. This stuff here we got at a hardware store which we tried out. It actually melts the plastic just as easily as any of the petroleum-based products, and it will eventually ruin your gun. God forbid you spray it into your magazine, get it on the BBs, it'll basically weld your BBs inside of the magazine and make your gun absolutely useless. What we do recommend are the kind of lubricants that are designed specifically for airsoft. We have the silicone gear oil, which is a low viscosity. It comes out, kind of looks like snot. And we also have the high viscosity stuff, which is good for slides and magazines. You don't want to use too much of it. If you do use the stuff, you want to wipe it down real good and make sure you don't have a lot of residue, because it'll attract dirt and that will wreck your gun just as easily as not lubricating it. So use it sparingly. In a pinch, if you can't get your hands on that stuff, there is the silicone grease that's available at Home Depot. It comes in a kind of a paste form. The nice thing about this is it's safe for O-rings and that sort of thing, so put it on a Q-tip and use something like this in a pinch if you can't get your hands on the other stuff. But if you can't, stop in here at the store. We do have both kinds of oil available, and that will increase the life of your gun. One thing that's often misunderstood is properly charging your battery when you're dealing with electric airsoft guns. Most guns off the shelf come with a standard wall wart charger like this, which is basically a dumb charger. They do give you a little warning sticker on it which tells you not to charge the battery overnight. Better yet, I'd say don't charge the battery for more than 4 hours continuously with one of those chargers, because they tend to overcharge the battery and basically cook it and cut the lifespan of the battery down dramatically. If you want to make your battery last longer, the best bet is to go out and get yourself a smart charger. These actually monitor the charge of the battery and shut themselves automatically when the battery is up to full charge, which gives you a much longer battery life. Obviously, it won't wreck your gun to be running out of batteries all the time. It just gets awfully expensive, so you might want to look into one of these smart chargers. Lastly, I'd like to bring up the topic of general rough behavior with airsoft guns. You know, I know this looks like a full mil-spec quality firearm. It's got the bayonet lug on it. It looks like an assault rifle, but this is just basically a toy. It's not designed to be doing full bayonet drills or breaking down doors or anything like that. The funny thing is we'll sell plastic guns to people and they know automatically that it's not going to last forever, so they tend to treat them a little bit better and they last longer. Meanwhile, some of these folks buy their kids metal guns. The kids think the thing's indestructible, so they go and start doing bayonet drills or start using it like a battering ram, and the thing doesn't last as long, and they wonder why. Well, obviously, this is a toy. This is not an actual gun. So treat it that way, and it'll last you a lot longer. So that's about it for this week. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to send them on in. We're always interested in your opinion on our little airsoft videos. Or better yet, stop in here at the showroom. We'll be more than happy to take as much time as we need to get you exactly what you want the first time. So, until the next time, we'll see you again.
Wait, how does this magazine work?
Can we do this first?
Sorry, I'm excited.